Hi, it's UHD Carlson here. Anytime is a good time for Stephen King film adaptations. And a few years ago, I picked up a Steelbook release of Pet Sematary, the original adaptation of the King story, which came out in 1989. I'm going to unbox this release, and I will share my opinions. The Steelbook looks very nice. There is a slipcover on here as well. And then underneath the slipcover, and this actually folds open and has a panoramic piece of artwork. I really like the way that looks. We do get two discs in here. We get the Blu-ray disc of the film, as well as the 4K Ultra High Def release of the film. And we do get some nice panoramic art of a burning house on the inside. That looks very nice. And I'll read the description of the movie as follows from the slipcover. Sometimes dead is better. The terrifying tale by Stephen King is also a beloved adaptation of the best-selling author's work. Newly remastered in 4K for its 30th anniversary, Pet Sematary follows the tragic story of the Creed family. After their cat is accidentally killed, a friendly neighbor advises its burial in a mysterious nearby cemetery. When the cat comes back, it's only the beginning of an unthinkable evil leading to hell and back. Sometimes, so it seems, dead is better. Pet Sematary is honestly not one of the more talked about Stephen King adaptations, but this 1989 film is actually done quite well. It does have, again, a small town setting. The movie revolves around a family, and the husband father is going to work at a local college as the campus doctor. And of course, everything starts going horribly wrong when a cat is brought back to life using the titular Pet Sematary. The neighbor, Judd, in the film is portrayed by Fred Gwynne, who of course was famed back in the old days for playing Herman Munster on TV. And a few years after this, in his final film role, he'd portray Judge Chamberlain, one of my all-time favorite comedies, My Cousin Vinny. The cast in the film is actually quite good, and everyone handles their roles quite well. There are some moments in this movie that are just absolutely terrifying and quite violent. The movie certainly earns its R rating, and despite this, it does manage to find time for humanity and some decent character development, and that's always a good thing. There are a few aspects of the film that don't work too well, namely a subplot regarding the wife-mother character's sister when she was growing up, who was suffering and died at a very young age, and then also a subplot about a laundress for the main characters who ultimately ends up being written off fairly early in the film without contributing a whole lot to it. That said, though, the good certainly outweighs the bad here, and this is something of an underrated Stephen King adaptation. King himself even appears in the movie in a cameo as a minister at a funeral. It's a good movie overall. Again, B-tier Stephen King is still better than A-tier works from other writers, so that should say something right there. This disc is based on a new restoration, and I'm happy to say the 4K disc for the most part looks very good. We do have a lot of colorful, bright outdoor scenes, but then we have a lot of night scenes and scenes that are in dark houses and buildings. And everything looks very nice for the most part. There are a few scenes that look a little more faded, and I think this might just be because of the original source photography. From what I can tell, this is about as faithful and high-quality transfer of this movie as you will ever get. Overall, it does look great on 4K. The 4K disc itself actually has a few new bonus features, as well as some image galleries, and there are some legacy bonus features that are on the Blu-ray disc as well. If you're a fan of the work of Stephen King, this release of the 1989 version of Pet Sematary is well worth picking up. There was, of course, a remake of the story that came out in 2019, which released to fairly minimal fanfare. This film had its own spin-off sequel, not directly based on King's works, called Pet Sematary 2. And there was also a Pet Sematary prequel film that was released on Paramount+. I haven't seen either of those, so unfortunately I can't make any comments there. But this release of the 1989 film does come highly recommended. Are you a fan of Stephen King? How do you feel about this adaptation of Pet Sematary? Which version of the story do you think was best? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm UHD Carlson. I'll see you next time.